Hello everyone and welcome to Payalagam Anaivarkum Vanakam. Today we're going to look at this word Dravidam or Dravida. A lot of people seem to be commenting a lot about Dravidam. On the YouTube channel we have a few people who have asked about it or made comments about it. And of course then we have the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu who seemed to have taken a particular fondness to this specific word and to bring it up.
We never knew there was something called Dravidian and Aryan. But British conspiracy and their Indian compatriots.
In ancient literature, in ancient geography and history, people south of Vindhya range were called Dravid and people north of Vindhya range were called Arya.
There are various claims that Dravidam was created, a word created by Sanskritites. There are claims that Dravidam was created by the British, specifically Caldwell, because he created the Dravidian language family, or maybe more like he classified the South Indian language families as the Dravidian language family. And of course, then there are other claims on Dravidam as well. So what particularly is Dravidam? The thing about Dravidam is it's actually the same thing for any other old word. You have a word called dharma, and in Sanskrit it can mean something else. In Pali, dhamma means something else. And of course some people call it religion, some people call it a way, or some people call it a path, some people call it, there are so many different meanings to the word dharma. So I'm going to list out the various meanings of Dravidam or how it has been used, and we'll look deeply into each one of them after that. First one, Dravidam is known to be a race. Second one, Dravidam is known to be a culture. Third one, Dravidam is known to be a language family. Fourth one, Dravidam was also used in the term Adi Dravida, which is mean the first Dravidians, and these are the terms used for the tribal communities or the first people of this land. And then fifth one, Dravidam is also known to be the social reform movement started by various people and which involved Periyar. To begin with, let's debunk this particular myth that Mr. Robert Caldwell, a missionary who came to Tamil Nadu and did a lot of linguistic studies, created the word Dravidam. No, he did not. The word Dravidam is much older than the 1800s and much more diversely used than the way Robert Caldwell used it in his studies. Another doubt that seems to be floating around is that, is this word Dravidam a Tamil word? No, Dravidam is not a Tamil word. However, Dravidam is not particularly disconnected to the word Tamil either. Another popular opinion that seems to be going around is that this word Dravidam is a Sanskrit word. There is no actual proof to show that the word Dravidam is sourced from Sanskrit. The factor that the people who've used Sanskrit or have dabbled in Sanskrit have actually used this word, it is there in the Mahabharata, does not actually make it their word. Now, the first signs of the word Dravida is not actually among Sanskrit people. The people of Kalinga have used it, the people of Greece have used it, the people of Egypt have used it, Mesopotamia have used it, and of course the Pali people have also used it. The Buddhist communities have also used this word Dravida. From our studies, it is apparent to us that this word Dravida is actually one of the exonyms of Tamil. The word exonym is the antonym of the word endonym. Endonym is the word or the name that people use within their community, and then the exonym is a name that outsiders or people outside of that community use for that particular community. There are various other names that have endonyms and exonyms in history as well as today. Notice that, for instance, the word Germany, the name Germany is used by the British people and so all the English-speaking languages, because the Germanic people is who they were in contact with. However, the German people call themselves Deutschland. On the other hand, when you go to France, they do not call the people of Germany either Germans or the Deutsch people, but they call themselves Alemannia or Allemand when it comes to the people. So this is simply because the people to the western edge of Germany are the Alemannish people, and that's the people that the French people have had most contact with, and therefore the exonym Alemannia or Germany, while the endonym is Deutschland. Now there are various examples of endonyms and exonyms for countries such as Deutschland and Germany. For instance, if you go to France, France, or France where the British call it, but the Germans call it Frankreich. Looking further east, you'll find that the name China is not the only name for the Chinese people or the country China. In India, it's either called Chin or Sinam, and the people of China actually used to call it something like Zhonghua or something like that. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but the spelling is completely different from the word China. The same thing for India. India has been called Sindustan, Hindustan, Industan, Indus, India, so many other names. Some people have decided to call it Bharat. So there are so many names which are endonyms and exonyms. History has shown many examples of endonyms and exonyms. The word Malaysia used to be Kedah, and guess what? The Tamil people used to call the Malaysia Kedaram or Kadaram. On the other hand, when you go to Greece, the old name for Greece was Ionia, and we used to call them Yavanam. If only countries have endonyms and exonyms, you will find that the word Jesus is not actually the name of the person. The person's name was Yeshua. We call him Yesu, and there's Joshua and there's Jesus too. All of these are actually the same meaning, the same person. It suffices to say that there are usually one endonym and many exonyms according to who's saying it, according to their language and how they pronounce, what makes it easier for them to pronounce. Now, when it comes to Dravidam, you will find that actually Dravidam being an exonym is only one of the various exonyms for the name Tamil. Tamiram. It is stated in the document Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, which is the Red Sea. And now a quote from Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, the translated version. Then come Nora, which is Kannur, and Tindis, the first markets of Demerica, which is Dravida. And then Musiris, which is Musiripattanam, near Cochin. And Kannur, of course, is the north of Kerala. And Nelsinda, which are now of leading importance. Where other notes based on this about Kerala and as well as Tamil Nadu, the south part of Tamil Nadu. In this, Demerica means the country of the Tamils, that is the southern Dravidians as they existed in the 1st century, including particularly the Chera, Pandya and Chora kingdoms. So is Dravida a synonym for Tamil? Renowned linguists such as Devanaya Pavana did consider it so. The relationship with Dravida and Tamil was that it moved over time from Tamil to Dravida, but and a lot of people have endorsed this, but a lot of people also do contend it. But the underlying question here is, can Dravida be switched for Tamil? This now is an issue because an endonym is used as an endonym and as an exonym is used as an exonym. The other problem that actually surfaces up from this is because the general geographic boundaries of Dravida, it's not a particular nation, but there are countries within Dravida, and they do include Telugu and they do include Tulu and Kannada. Now, what exactly is Dravida? If it is a synonym of Tamil, that then makes Tamil the mother of all languages, while if it is not a synonym, if it is a geographical region, then actually Tamil is just one out of the Dravidian languages, and that makes it very diverse. Now, Tamil could easily be the first among equals, but there is no actual pure proof that Tamil actually birthed all of these languages. It is very clear that Tamil did birth Malayalam, but it's not very clear whether Tamil actually birthed Telugu, Tulu or Kannada. It shows a lot of contemporary relationships, and so therefore we do not call it the Tamil language family, we call it the Dravidian language family as brought up by Robert Caldwell, simply because it's not clear whether it was the mother of the language or just the oldest amongst them. Essentially, the question of whether which came first it's not a race. It doesn't really matter which came first, and it's much better to have a linguistic understanding instead of making it political. And therefore the Dravidian language family with Proto-Dravidian as a possible source, as the root of all of these languages, is brought forth. And the same reason is the reason why we don't call it the Sanskrit language family or the Prakrit language family or the Greek or Latin language family, but the Indo-European or the Indo-Aryan language family. That makes it more diverse, less political and more linguistic. In the kingdom of Kalinga, there have also been notes about the Dramila Sangam, the Sangam of Dramila, another form of this word Dravida, to talk about the federation of kings in the south. However, in 450 BC, way before all of these, Herodotus the historian has also used the word Dravida when talking about South Indians over here. So it is very clear that the first time the word Dravida was used was not in Sanskrit but by a Greek philosopher. This word also comes in different places as different exonyms. The Mahabharata claims the Dravida kings who lost their Kshatriyahood because they did not support Brahmanism. This comes in book 13, chapter 35, sloka 17 to 21. One last thing for the Indian audience, people who sing the national anthem and know the national anthem think that the word Dravida is there. However, it is not Dravida, it's Dravira. Punjab, Sindh, Gujarat, Maratha, Dravira, Utkala, Vanga. That's how the Bengali people call Dravida, Dravira. And that's how Rabindranath Tagore has actually written the poem. It suffices to say that Dravida is only one of the various exonyms for Tamil Kurung Nallulagam or Tamilagam, and that includes Karinadu or Karnataka and Telugu and Tulu and Malayalam Tamil, which then later on became Malayalam, as well as the various parts of Tamilagam which now include Tamil Nadu. So this word Dravida is only one of these names. The various names are Dramila, Drabira, Drimida, Damarika and Dimarika. All of these just talk about the federation of nations or states or countries in South India which were there in that time. You have people like Shankaracharya who have also used this word Dravida Shishu or Panja Dravidam. You have people who have them in their names like Rahul Dravid. And you also have other people who have used this term several times. It is much older than Caldwell. Now, the question of race has actually been demolished by the study of genetics that has proven that almost everybody on Earth shares some percentage of all genetics that are there on Earth, and that everyone is mixed. We all have Aryan genetics, we all have Neanderthal genetics, we all have Denisovan genetics. The question is in percentages. Now you will have people with higher percentages of this and higher percentages of that. There is a difference between North Indians and South Indians but that difference is in percentage of genetics. There is higher percentage of certain genetics in South India and higher percentage of other genetics in North India. But this differentiation does not have to lead to discrimination. We can be different and we do not have to other people in any way. This was put forward by Chief Minister Arinyar Anna that actually said that the fact that we are different does not mean that we cannot work together. We can work together, but we still like our autonomy. This made him propose the Dravidian Federation or Dravida Nadu, and then later on let it go for an Indian federation which had autonomy of each state. Now this word Adi Dravida was actually just created in order to reduce the amount of insults that were borne upon the ancient tribal communities, to show that they are actually the first Dravidian people, and it made a better word or a better name than the other names that were used, some of them very derogatory. Now the fifth and last meaning is the Dravidian movement, the Dravida Iyakam, the socio-political movement that has been in Tamil Nadu for the last 100 or 150 years. This particular topic will need a video on its own, so look forward for it to the next video. Thank you very much.